Just want to start off real quick and say that this is going to be a lengthy review. And it's going to show a side of me that none of you have really seen when it comes to reviewing. So just be prepared. Now that that's out of the way, let's get this show on the road. What is up, everyone? This is ReviewIt. I'm James, and welcome to Star Wars Month. And here it is. This is the first review. We are starting with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the first of the prequels, or what I really like to call one of the worst movies of all time. Yes, this is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get through this. Much like the rest of the prequels, you're going to need some help getting through this movie. Oh, but here we go. You know what makes this one so much worse is that you're going to need more of whatever supplement, of whatever help you have to get through it. So with that being said, get your alcohol, get whatever you need to keep yourself freaking sane, because we are about to review Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I want to get through the good things first, because there's very few, but I'm going to get through them, because there are a couple little tiny decent things with this crap fest. The special effects, they're pretty neat, but you know, it's hard to care what's actually happening, because the character development sucks! Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson both give pretty decent performances as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn respectively, but guess what? Their characters are so poorly developed, you don't give a crap about anything that's going on with them, so their performances are wasted. The pod racing scene that happens midway through the movie, which I'll get to talk about that in just a second, that's a pretty cool scene. It looks nice. That's all I can say for it. And Darth Maul. Oh, Darth Maul, how he could have been the best thing about the prequel trilogy. But guess what? He's wasted completely. They kill him off at the... This is going to be a spoiler review. Sorry, but that's just how it is. Darth Maul gets killed at the end of this movie, and it just... So we start off the film with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn going to this Trade Federation ship to talk about trade embargoes and to try and have some negotiations with the viceroys. But oh no! Guess what? They are invaded by some droids because we had to have stuff that just relied on green screens. No, I'm sorry. Lucas used blue screens for these movies. We had to have something that would let him utilize those blue screens to the fullest, and the stupid CGI droids that are stupid. So while investigating this ship, they find out that the Viceroys plan to attack Naboo, which is kind of who they're in a disagreement with. So Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan decide they're going to go to Naboo, and they're going to talk to Princess Amidala and be like, hey, chick, you're about to get by these Viceroys, so we need to get you protected. But on the way... No, you know what? I'm gonna get to that later. Let's skip ahead, because if I get to this now, I won't be able to finish this review. So after they get to Naboo and they alert Princess Amidala, and, you know, X person is with them, I won't talk about him right now. They are forced to escape Naboo because the Viceroys and their droids, they invade and they're like, what's up, yo? We're taking over. Well, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are like, Amidala, we need to get out of here. And so they do. And then you know what happens? Their ship gets attacked, and then they're like, crap, we need to land on Tatooine and go get the part for a ship. And up to this point in the movie, it's not that bad, other than that one character, which I'll get to in a second. But other than that, it's not that bad. You're just kind of watching her, and you're just kind of like, is this good? Huh? What do you think? So they crash land on Tatooine. Not crash land, they just land. And Qui-Gon and Natalie Portman, which, oh yeah, by the way, they don't know that she's the princess. They don't know it yet. It's supposed to be some big reveal at the end of the movie. But as of right now, she's just a helper to the queen. Princess, whatever. So they go to Tatooine with this X-person, which I really want to talk about him right now, but I'm not. I'm going to wait. I'm going to throw all my anger on him later. They meet Watto, who's this flying little thing who's like the Jewish stereotype of, oh, I need my money, oh, Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. But guess what? Watto has a slave kid, and you want to know who it is? I'll give you one guess. It's Anakin Skywalker. And what we have here is one of the worst things in this movie, and that is Jake Lloyd. Holy crap, this kid. To put it simply, this kid's career ended after this movie. He left acting after this movie. That should tell you something. Guess what? It's not just his performance that's terrible. It's his dialogue. It's his development, of which there is none. It is literally, he's one of the biggest problems here. And Lucas, George, buddy, what happened? What'd you do? This guy is supposed to be Vader, the biggest menace in that OG trilogy. And he's this? He's this little kid? And you know, it actually gets worse. It actually gets worse in the next film. God, no! So Qui-Gon takes a liking to this little Anakin kid, and he's like, you know what? I think you might be the one that the prophecy spoke of. The prophecy which states that someone will come along and will bring balance to the Force. What that means, I don't know, because the trilogy never really goes in depth into that. But Qui-Gon is like, hey, little kid, I need to win your freedom because I need to check my hunch. I think you are going to be the prophecy, the one the prophecy spoke of. And little Anakin is just like, well, you know, I'm a good pod racer. I'm the only human who can do it. And his mother is just like, oh, my little Messiah. Imagery. Christ imagery. So, of course, we have this pod race. We have this really cool looking pod race. Yes, it's cool. It looks awesome. And it's exciting somewhat, but it would be so much more exciting and so much more awesome if I actually gave a crap about any of the people who were involved. Plain and simple. Lucas. Character development. So over on Coruscant, we have trade negotiations going down. And boy, let me tell you, that's exciting to watch. We have Chancellor Palpatine, who is the Emperor, if you couldn't tell, because the trilogy is so good at hiding it, who's like, I need to get in power, because I can overthrow the Jedi Order. Evil creeping. Believe me, that's the most boring thing ever, and it affects the rest of the movies, believe it or not. And we'll get to that later because I have a thing I want to talk about with all the prequels. So, of course, Anakin wins this little pod race, and then Qui-Gon's like, I only want your freedom, so you're going to have to tell your mother sayonara, and you're coming with me to Coruscant so I can train you to be a Jedi. Little Anakin's like, but I don't want to leave my mom. And then, of course, his mother is like, you have to leave me, Jesus. I meant Anakin. So Anakin is sent off with Qui-Gon to Coruscant, where they go to ask Master Yoda and the Jedi Council if Anakin can become a Jedi. And guess what Yoda says? No. Nope. Can't do it. Nope. Sorry. So he decides to take Anakin under his wing anyway. And the Dark Emperor has his own apprentice named Darth Maul. Darth Maul is really cool looking and really intriguing, yet he is in 3 scenes. 2 of which are lightsaber battles where he doesn't say a word. The 3rd one, he says like 3 words. That's it. And none of them, at no point does Sidious ever say anything about his character. At no point does Darth Maul ever say anything about his character. We don't know a thing about him. We don't know what alien he is. We don't know anything about him. Oh, but you can guarantee that there was plenty of time for George Lucas to talk to us about Jar Jar Binks. Yeah. It's time to get to that, to the Binks. Jar Jar, the greatest, I mean the worst thing to ever happen to Star Wars. No, you know what? The whole Gungan race is a crap stain on the underwear of Star Wars, okay? That's what it is. It's not just the underwear of Star Wars. It's not. It's the crap stain. It's the skid mark of the underpants that Star Wars wears. It's the filthy jockstrap of Star Wars. That's what it is. That's what that whole race is. And Jar Jar is the nastiest spot. You want to talk about something that is so irritating and so just infuriating. We're going to talk about Jar Jar Binks. You know what Jar Jar Binks is here for? Fart jokes. Fart jokes. Offensive humor. And just to piss you off at every scene that he's in. You're gonna just be infuriated with this sucker. You're just gonna want to reach through the screen and just choke the life out of him. I can't even begin to describe how unfunny and how unlikable this thing is. And guess what? Lucas heard the backlash towards Jar Jar Binks, and he decided that in the following prequel movies, he was going to die down on how much Jar Jar was in it. But he did one thing that made Jar Jar one of the most important characters in the Star Wars canon. When I get to episode 2, we're going to talk all about that. Qui-Gon agrees to take Anakin under his wing. Obi-Wan is like, Master, I've had 2 scenes where I got to talk in this movie so far. What should I do? And Qui-Gon's like, just look pretty. And Obi-Wan's like, okay. And Anakin is like, yippee! I hate this film. I hate it. You know what? Let's just get to the end here, because I can't do this. I can't. So we get to this final conclusion, if you want to call it that, of this jumbled mess of a movie. And we have 3 fights going on at the same time. 3 action scenes going on at the same time. We have the fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul, which, cool lightsaber fight, but gosh, it's choreographed to the tiniest little bit, and it just doesn't look interesting. Now that could be because you don't care about any of the characters involved. We also have Anakin, who hijacks a yellow, stupid-looking fighter pilot plane thing, stupid. And he basically destroys like the head operation area of the Viceroys. And the 3rd action scene, we have Queen Amidala, whatever. Natalie Portman is with some other people, and they have guns, and they arrest the Viceroys, and they're like, we got you. And then you don't care. You just don't care. Like, you just don't care. And now, okay, and here's a major flaw with the movie, is that there's a lack of focus, okay? For the first 2/3 of this movie, we are supposed to be all in for Qui-Gon and Anakin, right? Because Qui-Gon is in the scene, is in nearly every scene, and he's like the main character, and we're paying attention to his plight. I mean, for gosh sakes, Obi-Wan is away from the action for like 30 minutes. While they're in Tatooine, we don't even see Obi-Wan. But then, at the end, in that stupid lightsaber fight, when Qui-Gon dies, when Darth Maul kills him, and Obi-Wan just has to watch, and he's helpless, we're supposed to feel sorry for Obi-Wan? Come on. Instead, we get development for all of them, almost none of them. I mean, yeah, sure, it sucked to see Qui-Gon, Liam Neeson, die. That sucked. But I didn't feel sorry for Obi-Wan. I didn't feel like his character grew in any way. So Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul. And by killing Darth Maul, I mean kind of killed the last bit of potential that these prequel movies had. And Qui-Gon's like, I need you to train Anakin. He's special. He's the one that the prophecy spoke of. I've talked to the kid a couple times, and I just think so. And Obi-Wan's like, sure, Master, I will do exactly as you said, because my devotion to you has been expressed in this movie so much up till now, so I'm totally going to stick with you here. The movie ends with everybody being happy. Darth Maul's dead. The Emperor seems to have to find another scheme. Everybody's happy. The Gungan race and the Naboo people come together and are friends. The end. So, I hate this film. I truly hate The Phantom Menace. I think it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I really think so. Because not only is it a god-awful Star Wars movie, it's a bad movie, just in general. It's a bad movie. Like, it has so many flaws that so many other films have. There's a lack of focus. The acting, for the most part, other than a couple people, is awful. There's so little character development. It hurts. It truly hurts to see how crappy these characters are and how you just don't care. There's so many weak attempts at humor, and when I say humor, I mean crap that Adam Sandler would find funny. I don't understand how Lucas just dropped the ball so hard here. It puzzles me, and it just doesn't make sense. Now, let's get to a thing that's going to be in pretty much all of the prequel reviews. And this section is all about how George Lucas bastardized things from that original trilogy. So you ready? Here we go! So let's think about this for a second. In the original trilogy, we have this galactic war going on between the Empire and the Republic. Guess how it all started? Because this movie tells us it all started because of trade disagreements and embargoes. Really makes it a little less epic now, doesn't it? Anakin built C-3PO? Come on. Come on. Midichlorians. Midi-chlorians. Guess what, kids? You know, the Force that we heard about in the original movies that's supposed to be this mystical kind of aura, this spiritual thing, you know. Yeah, it's supposed to be that. Or at least that's what we thought. Until Qui-Gon gives us this wonderful thing where he's like, midichlorians are little pieces in your bloodstream that determine whether you can use the Force. So you're telling me from birth I could be unable to become a Jedi because of my bloodstream? Really takes away from the fantasy of it all and the wonder. Instead of being able to make up your own situations, be like, oh, if I was in the Star Wars universe, I think I'd be a Jedi Knight, or I'd be a Sith Lord. No, instead now we have to look at it and be like, you know, I think if I had enough midi-chlorians, I would be a Jedi. But if I didn't have enough, I'd go be a bounty hunter. Probably get swallowed by a Sarlacc. I can't. I gotta finish this. I'll be here talking all night. This thing's 30 minutes so far. But for you guys, I'm sure it's cut down quite a lot because I'm probably going to cut out a lot of crap. But right now, my timer says it's 30 minutes. I've been talking about this movie for 30 minutes. So all in all, I hate Phantom Menace. I hate the Phantom Menace. It is the worst Star Wars movie out of all of them. It's even worse than that glorified pilot for the Clone Wars. But not only that, it's a bad movie. It's just an awful movie. So guess what? Some of you might find this a little harsh, but avoid like a plague, man. Stay away from this stink pile. This movie sucks. It's awful. And it's not just because it hurts a lot of things from the Star Wars lore. It's nothing to do with that. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a problem, but it's not. It doesn't factor into my rating at all. I made that rating for this movie because it sucks. It's a terrible movie. And I totally think that if you want to get into Star Wars, you need to stay away from this thing. Because it really just, it's not that important, honestly. It can be summarized in a couple minutes. You don't have to watch it. It's 2.5 hours of something you don't have to watch. Okay. I'm calm. I've moved on. It's time to let go of this movie and move on to the next one, which is not as bad. Bad, but it's not as bad. I can finally rest. I can be peaceful. I can be... No, no, no!